When aiming for something, the sooner you understand how it all works, the better. Well, if you're aiming to pursue a career in law, the sooner you understand how you will be recruited, the better. So, without further ado, All About Law would like to thank and introduce the incredibly helpful graduate recruiters that contributed to this video. The question is though, during your degree, how can you best prepare for pursuing a career in law?
There is so much to do in your first 3 years at university. So the first thing you should do is just start off by doing your research, finding out what different firms do and which ones might be right for you. Attend law fairs, attend skill sessions and networking events, and just start to build up your repertoire of what is really going on.
I would suggest in your first year you really focus on adapting to university life. We often get asked, do our first year marks matter? And they do, in the sense that if you choose to apply for training contracts or summer schemes in your second year, all that firms will have to judge you on academically, aside from your A-levels, are your first year results.
I think to prepare yourself for a training contract, there are two things we look for, two main things we look for, and that's a commitment to law as a future career, and also that you are achieving the right grades at university. Law firms do go into a massive amount of detail on your grades as well, so we would want a breakdown of all your modules from your first year to your final year at university. That shows us a couple of things. One, that you've been committed to your degree, but also it gives us an indication of your intellectual rigour as well.
Studying, you obviously need to get that all important 2-1, so you shouldn't forget why you're at university.
Study hard, because employers will look at your academics. That's one of the key ways they'll decide whether to invite you for interview, and they'll look at all of your modules. So don't think that because your first year doesn't count, that doesn't matter. Nobody will look at it anyway. They will be looking at it.
In your second year, you really need to be starting to think about attending law fairs and presentations offered by firms, applying for vacation schemes that will usually take place in the summer of your second year, and then ultimately making your training contract application in your penultimate year summer.
When it comes to your second year, at that point you should have a firm idea as to who it is you want to apply to in terms of training contracts or summer schemes. So really, in your first term of that year, focus on your career in the sense that you should be gathering information, you should be finding out things about firms, so that you are in a place to make informed applications and informed decisions about your future once you graduate.
Go and meet as many different types of law firms as possible, talk to their representatives, get a sense of their culture, the type of work, what it might be like to actually work for them.
But there are other things you can be doing, researching careers, different types of law firms out there. You can do that online from home, or you can obviously be going to your law fairs. There's loads of things that the firms are also doing on campus and at their own offices, so you can go to open days and presentations.
I think the most important thing about looking at law is finding out as much as you possibly can about the profession, finding out as much as you can about what lawyers do. Then I would recommend heading to the presentations from the firms, looking at law fairs, meeting people, as many people as possible who work in the profession, and basically it's all about research.
Might sound obvious, but really concentrate on your studies. Work hard, make sure you're doing well in your course results and getting the good grades. These days, because it is so competitive, even your first year results will be looked at.
Research and experience, I think. The first thing to start doing as soon as possible, and you can't do it too early, is to start researching what's out there and think about this in the broadest possible terms.
In your second year, you really need to be starting to think about attending law fairs and presentations offered by firms, applying for vacation schemes that will usually take place in the summer of your second year.
We're looking for people that can demonstrate a number of different skills, and you can only do that by achieving lots of things over the next 3 years. So unfortunately it's going to be a busy period.
To being part of a law society, through kind of being part of kind of mooting or debating competitions, doing some pro bono work.
I'd say the second thing is to get involved, so think about what you want to do outside of your studies. it doesn't really matter too much what that is. You might be interested in sport or music, debating, mooting. You might want to join different societies. Make sure you do that and try if you can to take on positions of responsibility. So you don't need to be the president, you can be whatever it is, but just make sure that you're doing something which will then allow you to demonstrate to employers that you've got the skills they're looking for.
Keep up to date with lots of extracurricular activities. Law firms like to have well-rounded candidates and see that they're making the most of their free time and doing lots of things outside.
Other than that, it's really just fully immerse yourself in university life, everything that's going on and whatever interests you, whether that's sports, music, the arts.
If you're a finalist and you're just coming to this a little bit later than some of your peers, then I would suggest applying for some workshops or open days. Some firms will offer a finalists year vacation scheme, which is a great opportunity, and then making your training contract applications really as quickly as possible.